I will say to you that I asked them because they did the stuff in October Woods, and they do not own that property right across from October Woods where we were told commercial would go up there, and nothing is up there now but weeds. So I just wanted to throw that in. And hopefully somebody has some questions for them, or like I said, they would be open to show you or take you to that same place that they took me on Nolensville Road. But I'm going to ask you all to go ahead with questions now if you have them, or input about what you want to see.
Yeah, I have a question. So where is the retail? Are those buildings that's shaded darker?
Yes,
Or
sir.
the retail space?
He's pointing them out right there. The two that are right there on the corner, the two larger buildings.
Okay.
They might not see the mouse.
And these retail will be set up for what type of businesses?
They've got several clients that kind of follow them around. I mean, they'll be looking at some type of restaurant situation in there. I think there's some need out there for probably a small office or two, maybe a dental office or something like that. Fred, have you had anybody else talking to you about what they'd like to do out there?
Therapy, physical
therapy. Yeah.
We already got.
Right. We actually increased they were, when they started talking to people, they were getting a lot of positive response about coming out into that area. So we actually added another commercial building. And so that's why there's two buildings there instead of one. When we first started, floating ideas around and talking to potential leasees, seemed like they was getting enough interest that they added another building.
Yeah.
Give them the name, please, of that area up there on Nolensville that I was talking about, because they are open to having the retail very similar to that, because we were also talking about that little restaurant that I went to up there, having something like that, because they were interested in having another location. And they are very, very interested in what you have to say. So if there's something specific or types that you want, they will include that. I already went over some stuff that we do not want with them. And so they are open to that as well. They are in the area, and so they're not going out. So that they are very interested in any of that. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to put that piece in there to ask him to do that, because you may want to ride through there and at least look at the retail on the front of that yourself.
Yes. Yes. By the way, my name is Richard Herring. I'm a contractor. I've worked for Fred for a number of years. I've known him over 30 and worked for him for that length of time. He actually developed October Woods and part of Apple Valley and Sugar Valley and some other properties around. Britton Downs, I work in that community. Burkett Place, I work in that one. I worked over there where you're talking about, Councilwoman Lee, over there off of Rocky Fort. And I'd like to say that Fred has been kind of an asset to the community, because he's one that's initiated this type of development. When he started there in Britain, I think it's called that community you have right there in Nolensville Road. That was the first one built there in Nolensville Road, Fred. That's
Breton Plaza.
Breton Plaza has a lot of retail, and that thing stays full. So Fred has been the leader in this type of development. He's always built quality homes and commercial space. So I really would support him in this type of development in this area. And I think if we don't get something like this, we'll get something that's far worse. I would like to ask, do you have an elevation of the property so we can look at the exterior? What will the exterior of these townhomes be?
Pull up that.
Yeah.
Pull that.
Commercial.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to search through, and we've got a picture of it.
Yeah. And Richard, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. What we're sharing now is more like an inspiration photo than anything else. This is over there on that Greenbrook North development on the corner there of Greenbrook of Nolensville Pike and and Rocky Fork. You know, and it was related to us that this is the type of look that might be of interest to the community, and that you know, to reiterate what Council Lady Lee had shared, you know, we'd be more than happy to meet anybody out there, and you know, walk around with them and show them the type of tenants that we've been able to procure, many of whom are local, what they call mom and shop. So they're people who, as business owners, live within the community as well. But this is, you know, where we sort of started off with some options. And so far, the feedback that we've received is this is along the lines of the look of what people are hoping for. So very open to some feedback, of course, but this is that Greenbrook North development that we were referring to earlier.
Well, I think that would be well suited for across the street from October Woods. That's a well elegant building that would fit any subdivision or suburban community where you got mixed use development. It looked like it's high class, so we really like that. That would help us maintain a standard in the area, and so I think that would really give us a potential boost and keep our property values up, taxes low, hopefully. But that's what we look for.
And can another person speak? Hello?
Sure, it's
Yeah,
open.
absolutely.
We're just picking
Okay.
anybody. It's
I'm-
open.
Okay. This is Gary. So I represent the Gilroy Church of Christ. It's up the road from there. And the idea of restaurants in those buildings and things would probably be a plus for the community. The only thing that we at the church are concerned about, of course, we're concerned about the property beside our property, but they just repaved that road. That road needs to be wider down through there for new development. And they just repaved it, and it's a sad case that that road wasn't widened on down through there past the stoplight and the Dollar General to make it more easier for people to get out, because we have difficulty coming out of the church building there of people getting hit and things because the cars go so fast there. That's the only main comment that I have. I think the development probably looks good. I don't see any really to object. It's just the additional traffic and poor planning of the road.
Thank you for those comments. I'm sure that, you know, we'll have to do a traffic impact study and we'll have to look at the roads and everything else. And I appreciate your comments, and you know, it's a historic church you represent there. It's been there for a long time.
100 years.
Yes, sir.
And I will tell you, when I met with the developers, we also talked about some of those things. So even though they have to do a traffic impact study, they are very aware that the community may want something a little extra because they live it every day and know how the traffic is. So we talked about turning lanes and widening certain area and those type of things. So wanted to let you know that that is all part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Yazdian's the one that installed the red light at the corner of Old Hickory Boulevard, and Burkett Road, basically. Where they
Sure did. I forgot to say that. Sorry. And he did not have to. Somebody else was supposed to go in with him on it, and they pulled out.
Yeah, absolutely. And because Council Lady Lee shared a lot of these comments, in particular about the traffic, in the very beginning of this, we also, based on her feedback from the community, we reworked this. If you look at the current rendering here, that we have those two entrances on the Twin Oaks Lane, so nothing off of Old Hickory Boulevard to help with that congestion. And we were asked to move some of those townhomes toward the back just to make sure that this wouldn't become a cut through for people, to make sure that the traffic patterns wouldn't be disrupted and that everything was done neatly. But obviously we'll also do a full traffic study as well.
Well, thank you for this, Gary. So again, with the Gilroy Church, thank you for those comments and all, but we just need to be careful because we have a lot of older people that drive, that coming out of there that very difficult. They really need to they should have installed it. When they paved that, they should have made it just a little bit wider and at least put a turning lane in there, but that didn't happen.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the comments.
You know, Mr. Soul, I've actually called the state about that same issue because what happens coming off of 24, there's a truck wash there and those big tractor trailers are coming toward our subdivision, creating a little congestion. And I thought the state would have widened that lane coming off the interstate. Sometimes coming off the interstate, you're stuck in the middle of traffic. They should have had a lane all the way down to October Woods. If they'd have made that lane wider, that would eliminate it with the truck trying to turn left. And we're trying to get to the subdivision, or of course, in your case, your church, it would have been less hazard to do so if they had had a full lane there. But that merge is part of the problem. I've called the state about that. And I don't get good feedback from them because they do those plans like Metro does years in advance. I don't guess they see a need for it, but we really need it. And I think that issue, it's a state road, have to be taken up with the state. I believe, is that correct, Councilwoman Lee?
It does, but the problems that he's talking about, the issues, we can help some of that when we do new development as we have the developers do some different things. So what's already done, yeah, that's with the state. But as we are looking at doing new things, we can try to offset some of that by doing something on the front end.
Oh, I see.
Any more questions, please?
Yeah, this is Gary So again. We appreciate all the comments and things, but that's one of our main concern is traffic there.
Okay.
And so we appreciate any efforts that would be done because we don't want anybody to have to lose their lives. There's enough of that going on.
Of course not. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you being on this too.
You're welcome.
Somebody else have a question or impact or a concern? Well, y'all just trying to get off the meeting real early, huh?
We're trying to let you drive safe. What we're trying to do.
Thank you. I will have you know the phone is like right there. I'm not having it in my hands, turning it around or anything like that. So it's all good. Well, this was good. Do we have anybody on here that want to go visit that one on Nolensville Road to take a look at some of the townhouses? Like it was stated, they have done stuff in October Woods, right there across the street in October Woods. And a lot of places near us, so they care and they kind of know, and they're not going anyplace. So when we say something and we have to hit them about something that's not going on or something else that we want done differently, that can happen. I'm kind of nervous. No other comments or anything? All right, I am going to ask them to come back with some good inside pictures of what the things were really, because we saw an overview like. I think my folks really like to usually see specifics. I know we talked about back sets for those that have garages, how far they were going to be back, and so that cars wouldn't be in the road, and different kind of trails and things like that to walk through, or little dog areas and stuff like that. So if we can come back again once more with some specifics drawings so that everybody can see that. How about that? What does that sound? How does that sound to everyone?
We've got the dog park and the trails and stuff like that shown on that plan. So
yeah, but I meant pictures. Do you have pictures of the actual townhouses, how they're going to look, some of the elevations, and how some of the homes may look, that type of thing? But if you want to pull it up and show them the
No,
yard or the places, and we
that
talked about good buffers as well, tree buffers and those things. So if there's some more things you want to show them before we get off, I'll back off now so you can do that.
No, that was pretty much what we had to show. We wanted some input, and I think we've got some good input from, the people who spoke and stuff like that. And, from our meetings with you, I think that you've got a good, feel for what your constituents like and everything else. And I think that Fred and Ivy are going to try to bring a real quality product out there. So we'll get a little bit more information together to be able to present.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'm very concerned because we've had meetings where Cane Ridge was wanting to stay more in the rural. Here you are intruding on the land that's rural again with more commercial, which there's plenty of commercial land just down there by October Woods that sit there and sit there and sit there. Nobody's touching it. This is undeveloped land that you've been able to buy cheap and you're now ready to make a lot of money off of. Plus, you have the two entrances on Twin Oaks Lane, which is a dead-end road. It's already too congested around here. It's just
Well, let's
frustrating.
look at that. Let's look at the two on that, because I'm sure if we want to have some conversations about the ins and outs and things like that, that is something that we can work on. Nothing that they have now is in stone.
Yes, and there's lots of wildlife in that area. You're cutting down all their habitat, all that land. It's hard enough now to get out of Twin Oaks Lane. Certain times of day, you just don't go anywhere because you can't get there.
Because, during the rush hours, it's so hard to do that. So I don't know what would be better, to do one on one and one on the other, or to do it on Old Hickory. What would you think would be the
I
best
don't like
entrances
any of this
so
being
it stops?
proposed. You're right by apartments. I think it would be beautiful to have about 6 nice houses right there, not 45 townhouses. I think it needs to leave all the fancy construction, all the down near the interstate, where it's already down there by October Woods and the Dollar General and the nice apartments. Why does it keep coming this way? I think it would be much better for about 6 nice houses right there.
Okay, so that is something, you all hear that, to see what you could do with houses, because we already talked about the density. But going back to the ins and outs, if I understand what you're saying about the large houses, but the ins and outs on Old Hickory, 2 on Old Hickory, would that be better if one was on the other way and then one was on that way, or both? For entrances to the specific problem you were talking about the traffic and not being able to get in and out, how would you see
I
a
don't know
way
the solution to
might
that.
be?
I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
the solution to that.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
you've got Twin Oaks Lane and you've
So
got
I do understand what
there's like 20 houses
about
on Twin
that.
Oaks, and you've got them right in the middle now of doing $1 million houses down here that we don't want our property to go from $1 million houses to decrease in property in our home values.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
So, what this property would allow, I used to mow the property right across the street from there on Twin Oaks Lane when I was raising cattle. It's a big tract that's eventually is going to either go commercial or go apartments. And so what I like to see, since I'm in the community too, number one, the traffic light helps the traffic. But the volume of traffic, the volume of commuters now has almost doubled or tripled. So there always going to be some congestion. So, but the traffic light does help. But what I like to see, if a development like this set a precedent of what's coming down the road, because any big tract of land that's in this area now is going to be eventually developed, and that's, I mean, that's that's
We
what's
are
happening
in the
right now.
process talking with planning department to change a lot of that out here. I think Miss Lee was at the last meeting where planning come out to the Cane Ridge Community Center.
Yeah,
We have
we
another meeting with them in March to
Mhm.
talk
changed
about
to
how
like
we want the community out here to look.
Yeah, I understand that too. But yeah,
yes,
and I understand you're concerned about the
and
wildlife because behind
some of
your
they're
area,
talking about how that can be done now.
yeah, behind your area on Twin Oaks is it buffers a big commercial open space, big commercial development back there where it allows for wildlife, and it's also probably borders Rutherford County in that area back behind you. But it's these tracks are, like I said, I just like to see a developer that comes in that's concerned about the community, and I think Mr. Yazdian is, with his engineers, are concerned with the community, and they will make adjustments to the concern of the majority of the constituents or the people that live in the area. But I feel safe with his development than I would be with someone else that's coming from out of state, that don't know the community and don't care about the citizens or people that live there.
Okay, so I appreciate that. Thank you, both of you. Like I said, the developers are they're taking everything in that you all are saying, and they're maybe bringing something to set it out there. But anybody else that has not made a comment that maybe wants to put in their comments? Okay. Well, like I said, there's we're going to set up in the chat. Then that way the developers can see that and take that back as well. What we have started doing now is, I hope you are on my email list. If you are on my email list, when there are questions or comments you are asking the developers, we get those answers, they send it, and then she emails it on the list. So you'll get that whether you are on here or not. So we'll take a little time, and if are not on my email, then you can email roseanne.hayes@nashville.gov and just let her know that you're in District 33 and you want to be on my email list. And that's how we send out information, answer your questions about any of the development or anything like that. Questions up, or I don't know if the developers want to make a.
We just want to thank everyone for taking the time to come in and make comments. And we want to just second what Council Lady Lee said, that we're open feedback and grateful for this opportunity to have a chance to have a conversation with the community. And we look forward to hopefully having an opportunity to work with y'all. So thank you so much.
Okay, then looks like we're gonna get off here. again, you know, I hope you all got the email that showed the different dates that we're going to have meetings. They were all on one flyer. Back to that and hit on it, and that will take you. I hope you all are careful. I hear that there's going to be our cold springtime already, but coldness, because I don't know how soon that's going to be. And I want everybody to be safe out. If you have things that you need to bring forth, like potholes or big hub Nashville, or you can just go 311, dial that and put it in there as well. Or if there are problems that you see something, go ahead and call things in, because a lot of times people will say, well, all this dumping is happening out there, but they don't know when to come and pick that up if you don't report it. So if you see something, go ahead and report it. But I wish everybody safe out there. Thank you for putting up with me being like on the road while this was happening. I hope you all are safe. And I guess I'm going to get ready to shut it down. Any reason I shouldn't?
I just want to quickly say that I live in October Woods too, and I actually think that this would be a great development for the neighborhood, so in the area. So I am in favor of more commercial coming in as well.
Thank you for your comment, dear. Anybody else? Well, guys, be safe, have a good dinner, and get some good rest tonight. And thank you all for being on.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.